We're so excited to have you here today. My name is Janelle. I'll be your technical support. Um, and basically, before we get started, I just want to let everyone know for us to have a great session. We're just going to be super engaging today. There is a Q&A section, so make sure to put in your questions. Our workshop today is presented by Sharmilee Sarkar, and she's going to be discussing AI for everyone, leveraging uh, language systems. Um, if you have any reactions or anything during the presentation that really speaks out to you, don't be afraid to click that reaction like a clap or a thumbs up, just letting us know how you're doing. Um, Now, I'm very thrilled to introduce Sharmilee Sakar as she presents to us AI for Everyone.
Hey, hello everyone. I'm Sharmilee Sarkar, and I'm really excited to be here. First of all, thank you so much for the Creator Fest for conducting this. I think it's a huge platform for all the women out there, and it's very um, I think it's very important for all of us to come together and sharing ideas and everything. So all of you guys are doing an amazing job, and I'm really excited to be here. And thank you so much. So today I'll be walking you through you know uh, about AI for everyone that like I have been working on something. I've started working on something recently, and I thought of sharing it with all of you. And I think this is something at this point of time, this is really important for everyone. I hope you can see my screen. Janelle, can you confirm? Yeah, I think we are good to go.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. So, hello again. I am Sharmili Sarkar. I am a conversation designer and a UX writer at Coditas, and basically, I help create products with content strategy and everything. And recently, I started working on chatbots, and I learned a lot of things around it, and I think which is very important for everyone to understand. So, I'll be walking you through Uh, some of the experiences that I've had and few things that I think it's going to be very important for all of us to understand. So basically, as a conversation designer, my task is to design conversations. So I design conversations that goes in to train chatbots, creating a more human-like conversation between, in all the AI systems. And that's like my primary job. And while working on those projects, I got to meet a lot of interesting people. And recently, I got to meet Moni. She is an amazing writer. And the reason I'm taking her example is I'll be showing you why I'm taking her example. So, Moni is an amazing writer. So, I met Moni while I was working on an AI chatbot. And I got to learn a lot from this particular person. So, as you see, Moni speaks indigenous language. She has a language system. She follows, language system, which is very indigenous and specific to her region. She has a motor speech disorder as well, and she is gender fluid, and she prefers she and they pronoun. And we were designing a chatbot which was, centered around, helping almost everyone with their tasks. And when I met Moni, I got to know that there were a lot of things that I think most conversation designers or most prompt engineers or whatever systems we are building, we may not be following it accordingly, and that actually creates barrier, and we actually leave out a, an entire group of people, right? So I'll just give you a very simple example. So while I was doing my research, Moni told me that, you know what, I want to design characters for my book. And she's very, very passionate writer. And she thought of creating these characters, and every time she would enter words like help me create a gender fluid person with side parted red hair and with piercing, like cool character, and every time she would add those phrases, the system would give them um, give her this pop-up which said, your description may produce inappropriate results. Please try something else. Now, it created a burden for her because she couldn't understand why is she being, moved out of the entire system. And that actually created a lot of questions in the systems that we were building together for everyone, right? That made me realize that almost 32% of AI data sets used for training conversational agents as of right now, they lack non-binary or transgender data points, resulting in poor inclusivity. And that creates a lot of gap, when, let's say, if I want to design something for the majority of the users, what's the point if I'm not considering the majority of the users, right? So the existing data sets that we are using to train the chatbots, it's lacking the majority of the users, and that creates a lot of problem. And that made me think that is technology really that non-inclusive? I mean, we are living in an era where we are thinking of designing different kinds of AI assistants and chatbots, AR and VR experiences. But what if we are not actually being inclusive? Are we actually that non-inclusive? That made me question. And that led me to read a lot of articles and research papers which actually shows the bias discrimination in AI. It's not because AI is not strong enough or things like that. It's just that we are still helping AI build, right? And we need to create a proper system which would allow the AI assistants to understand that, okay, these are the pointers that I need to keep in mind while I will be conversing with the users, right? So it's us who will need to kind of upscale the existing system. So the question is, are we building for everyone? And I mean for everyone, regardless of culture, sex, gender, abilities, disabilities, everything. So are we actually including everyone when we are designing a product or building a product? So the question leads to, is AI inclusive? Let's look at a few examples. So as I mentioned, Moni, she's a curious and amazing writer, and she was thinking of translating her book in a different language, in the language that her people would understand better. So she tried, translating, certain phrases, and she wanted to see how these languages would come out. So she actually tried a little experiment. She wrote, she is a doctor, and then she translated it to Bangla, which is a regional language in India. And then when she copied that term, she pasted it and then she reversed the order. So now the Bangla will be translated back to English. Now, when she did that, the system assumed that if it's a doctor, it might be a male, right? It should be a male. So it automatically gave her the sentence, he is a doctor. Whereas in her language, the word she that you can see here, it's actually gender neutral pronoun, right? And she tried this exercise with a lot of translating apps out there on the internet. And that made her question that why is this happening? What's the issue? And then later on, we find out that data sets overrepresented male centric language for certain professions. So if we feed the system, let's say 10 articles, and we say in 9 articles that majority of the doctors are males, the system is going to assume that, okay, doctors is equal to male, right? And that was the first problem that she encountered. And She also found out through a lot of AI moderation tools. You must have come across a lot of AI moderation tools right now, which are currently being used to detect harmful speech, right? So these moderation tools, it uses natural language processing techniques to identify a wide range of offensive language, phrases, words, and it blocks them, right? Now, the beauty of this particular system is it doesn't only read the individual words, right? Let's say for this example, it's not going to read the individual words, but it is also going to read and understand from a context perspective, right? Like how combining those individual words can create something which can be harmful, right? But the problem is, uh, right now at this moment, since the AI systems, majority of the AI systems are not being fed with enough data points to support all the users, it sometimes removes a lot of content which doesn't need to be removed, right? So let's say posts discussing about gender identity, even when non-controversial, are often flagged as inappropriate, reinforcing, let's say I support certain gender group or certain people, right? So the system is not going to understand if I'm talking in favor or against that particular community. So that creates a lot of problem because there are a lot of marginalized groups out there who are facing a lot of problem because of this particular issue, because since we have like the AI systems is currently, it's currently learning as well. So as of right now, there's 72% of LGBTQ plus individuals, they have experienced online harassment, and partly due to the biased AI content moderation tools. So people who are out there trying to support a community, trying to build a community, they are also facing a lot of backlash and content removal. So we understand that algorithms fail to differentiate between harmful content and discussions about identity due to the lack of context, right? I'll give you a very simple example. So the plural of leaf is leaves, right? Very simple. But it also means this. So it's very important. Like as human beings, we understand certain contexts, right? We understand sarcasm. So let's say if I were to ask you at the end of my presentation, did you like my presentation? You would say, yeah, it was amazing. So it can have two meanings, right? It can be in a positive note and it can be on a sarcastic note, which is very difficult and tricky for the AI systems to understand. I also recently worked on a very interesting project, which was around the importance of how regional language differs from like language changes every 10 kilometers. So in India, we are more used to saying you know let's prepone the event or let's postpone the event, but in other countries, the word is rescheduled, right? So we don't use it often. And it is very important for us to make the AI systems that we are building to consider all these examples as well, so that we can create a system which will be, cohesive and which can be, inclusive to all the individuals who will be using that, AI assistant. These are a few examples. You can write down a few more examples if you can think of. These are the few examples that currently AI, like it takes a bit of time for the AI to understand, like figurative language, sarcasm, humor, ambiguous pronoun, right? So these are some of the language structures, which is very difficult for the AI systems to understand and comprehend and answer. Of course, these AI systems are being developed and improved every single day. But yes, there are a lot of things that as humans we understand because we have both verbal and non-verbal cues, right? So if I say something while I'm smiling, you'll assume that, okay, Sharmilee is happy. But if I say something and I'm frowning, you'll know that she's saying something good, but she's not that happy as of right now, right? So these are the little things. Now, moving on, is AI accessible to people with disabilities, which is very important at this point of time, I feel. Simone, as you know, she suffers from motor speech disorder. So she stutters sometimes. Sometimes she has like amazing ideas, and she uses ChatGPT, AI, Gemini, and other AI assistants to help her, translate ideas or have a bit of conversation here and there, help her improve. The problem is every time she has this problem of stuttering sometimes. So she has a great idea, brilliant idea, and she is trying to converse with this uh, assistant, and she is left with no answer, right? It creates a lot of problem for her in her day-to-day life. It creates a lot of problem for her because the that we are currently building, it may not have those parameters for people like Moni to actually come up and go beyond uh, what we expect of her, right? So these are this is one of the issues that she is currently facing. And if you go out and if you read, you'll find 100 different articles which talks about this. And also there are a lot of articles that talks about how people are there are a large number of groups who are creating these you know better machines and better assistants which can detect stuttering, and then they are using a lot of tricks to help create a better assistant for people who have this motor speech disorder, and that's really commendable. These tools often fail. So currently a majority of the tools that we are looking at right now, these tools often fail to recognize the non-standard speech pattern. So if I have low latency and I talk very fluently, uh, the assistants or AI assistants may not have much difficulty to comprehend what I'm saying, right? But if I stutter, if I suffer from maybe certain disease or certain issues, it will create a lot of problem for me, right? So even though we are in an era of where AI, AR, and VR, it's like blowing out there, but for people like Moni, it's going to be still difficult to transcend her ideas. A 2019 study by University of Toronto found that popular speech recognition system had an error rate of up to 30% for users with motor speech disorder. And in comparison, people who were able-bodied, they had less than 5%. So 30% and 5%, it's a huge gap. It's a huge gap. And it's like a question mark for the users who suffer from certain illnesses. It creates a question from their side that if you are building something, is it for us as well? Now, there has been a lot of progress, if you see, like Google Lookout, Microsoft Seeing AI, and a lot of other stuff which are currently being worked upon. We have Otter and, like real-time transcription of conversations and everything. So it is actually, there has been a lot of progress. I'm not saying that there isn't. It's just that if you are going to build something tomorrow, make sure that you are being inclusive. And I'm going to be showing you a few parameters that you can keep in mind if you think of building something tomorrow for everyone. So as of right now, 15% of global population, they have some form of disability, right? So that's over 1 billion people according to the WHO, and that's a huge number. So if you're not considering this population as well, so it's something that we need to look inwards and we need to work towards that, right? So the question is, now what? What we need to do now? Okay, Sharmili, you told us this is happening, that is happening, this is the research, people are facing these kinds of difficulties. So what now? What should we do now? We need to start thinking of building inclusive assistance, right? I know it's difficult, and when we are building something which needs to have certain business needs, certain different goals. We have like different business goals and we need to consider that as well. But at the same time, if we want to build something which is actually inclusive, and we want everyone to use it, we need to look inwards and think of, okay, I'm thinking of building something. How do I incorporate few things which can make it inclusive, right? So these are the few things that we need to keep in mind. Number one, representation matters. If you are building an AI assistant, use diverse data sets. Always do not focus on using one data set. So let's say if I'm building a voice assistant, I should not only consider the able-bodied, I may also need to consider people with different accent, right? Some people who have like different, maybe motor speech disorders. Some people who may, think, who may need time to think and, say the word out loud. They may need some time to rethink what they have said, things like that. And we also need to consider the people who belong to different cultural backgrounds. So I may have, a cultural background where I have a different understanding of a particular word or a particular sentence, right? So in that point of time, how should I, converse? So if you have diverse data sets, you have more information that you can feed into the system, so that tomorrow you'll have a system which can cater to majority of the users, not only in terms of gender, but in terms of culture, inclusion, and different kinds of people. So you are going to be building something which is very robust because it has a lot of data to work on. So always make sure that you're using diverse data sets that is inclusive of the majority of the users, right? Next is co-design. I know it sounds very utopian, but I have seen a lot of groups like people of two who are building something, and that's amazing. That's great. But if you include some more people to help you, build something. Let's say I want to build something where people from different regional backgrounds can converse with this particular voice assistant. So at that point of time, I will need to incorporate different linguists from different language, one from Hindi, one from English, one from like different cultural backgrounds, so that that person would help me understand that, okay, these are the few things that I need to consider. Also, I need to consider that there are a lot of marginalized groups, and I understand there might be, because of resources or something, we don't include them, but it is very important if we want to build something robust. Inclusion and, designing with different communities to create something more robust for future. Next is accessibility first. I know you must have heard about this particular term a thousand times, but trust me, this is actually helpful for people like Moni. They really appreciate it. So make sure that you are making AI adaptable to all needs, and that includes language, disabilities, gender contexts, etc. While I was conversing with Moni, she also explained to me one of the scenarios where she was trying to translate an idiom from her that they use in their language, and she tried to convert it to English, and it was almost funny, the responses that she was getting. She was constantly getting wrong responses, and it became Moni became kind of frustrated because she was not able to translate her ideas into something which people can understand. So that again is a limitation. So if we create something which has majority of the data sets inclusive, we can help majority of the users, right? And then again, continuous improvement. This is something I think we almost everyone of us do. Like regularly auditing your conversations, reading through and checking if this is the right thing to do, if your AI assistant is hallucinating on the back end, and how you can help it to create better responses. So while I was working on those particular product, I understood that there are a lot of affirmations that we need to use, and this is also again very important. I'll not go into the technical things, um, but yeah, this is like one of the few examples that you can look into. That you should be giving your users a lot of options to choose from, right? So it's just like when we create something, when we create a form, let's say we are creating a form, we give the users an option to skip certain questions, right? We give them an option to choose their pronouns, to write their own pronouns. So the same goes for the AI assistants that you are going to be building, be it voice or chat. Make sure that you are giving ample of options for your users to choose from. Make sure your questions are not too pushy, or it's not pushing the users to the edge, and you're giving your users a lot of space to play around. This is just I just wanted to give you one or two few examples. So in case tomorrow, if you want to build something, these are the few examples that you can look into. I will not go deep into the conversation design aspect of it, because in conversation design we have 100 different rules that we need to follow while designing the scripts. But I think a few examples, I can show you one or two examples. So let's say this is the example of a bad script, right? So let's say the user says, "Can you help me enable accessibility settings?" So let's say you have written or you have prompted in the backend to tell the chatbot that give this answer to the user. So let's say the chatbot says accessibility settings are only for people with disabilities, you might not need them, right? So this is a deal breaker. This should not happen. This is very rude, and this is like you know this is very wrong. So you should, whenever you are designing a script, make sure that each and every sentence, each and every use case is taken care of, and make sure that you are being inclusive. So a good example of this particular, you can try writing some answers as well, if you want, and in the chat. I think I'll give you a few seconds to think about it, but it's okay if you don't want to go into it. But um, um this is a bad script, right? If you want to share some ideas, you can share it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just give away the answer right now, and we can do another exercise in the end. So a good script, for apart from, like, if you take the same example, a good script can be, "Can you help me enable accessibility setting?" Sure, accessibility features are designed to improve usability for everyone. Would you like assistance with screen readers, captions, or visual enhancements? Right. So this is how your script should be framed, so that your users feel inclusive. It doesn't matter if the user is, specially abled or not. We should always strive to create scripts or responses in such a way so that everyone feels inclusive. If you don't know an answer of any question that your users have asked, try explaining the scenario. Try telling them that, "Hey, I still don't know the answer. Can you help me understand it?" Right? So it's better than giving them the wrong answer that Moni was facing back there, right? So it's not a good idea to give them wrong answers. It's always a good idea to let them know that, "Hey, I'm sorry if you're asking about this. I really don't know the answer of this. But yeah, here are a few resources that you can check, or can you help me understand it? What is your understanding of this particular thing?" So try to be more subtle and inclusive, so that your users don't feel uh, disheartened while conversing with your chatbots, because there should be a place for everyone, right? And if there isn't, it's our job to create one, a place so that everyone feels included. And what this will do is these little exercises and these little changes, it will help people like Moni to feel more inclusive in today's world. And we are entering a new era of human computer interaction where words will not only be our commands, but also the foundation for building trust and understanding. So, as of right now, majority of the users are using AI assistants on a daily basis, be it, maybe they're using it to play their favorite song, or they're using it to write a research paper, or someone is trying to write a script, or someone is just trying to have a heart-to-heart conversation. So it's very important to make sure that whatever language that we are using, it's to be used and created and crafted and built in such a way so that we are not leaving out any individual. And I know it's very difficult. There are different think of building something tangible and building something which is helpful for the majority of the users. Try to incorporate majority of the people. If you don't know something, try to reach out. If you are making something for regional people, who have certain dialect, who have certain, accents, try reaching out to that person, right? Over LinkedIn or over chat, and try to ask them a few questions that, hey, I'm building this. Would you like to help me in this? Would you like to volunteer, right? Because at this stage, I think this is very important, which sometimes we become too technical and we forget that uh, we might be leaving a major chunk, majority of the users who will be using it. And some people might feel offended and feel disheartened with whatever we are creating, right? And so I think that is very, very important. So the question is, can you make a difference, right? uh, Tomorrow, if you decide on creating something, try to partner with a group of other people who have like different ideologies, different understanding, who know something different from you, and try to create something which is inclusive, which will not exclude majority of the users. I think I read it somewhere. I can't remember the name of the person, but that person said that the moment you start designing for a group, you are also leaving out the majority of the group, right? And that is like it's true. And sometimes we are running out of time, or we don't have enough resources, and that's completely fine. But tomorrow, if you are even thinking of building or improving a system that you are working on, I would really urge that look into the examples of people like Moni, because I was also very confident when I started building and contributing to different projects that, hey, I created this AI chatbot and the language is great, the words are great, and this is all amazing. We just ship it off, right? And then later on, when I would get the report and I would, converse with the people I was contributing with in that particular project, and I would meet people like Moni, who would make me look inwards and think that, oh God, this is not what I was expecting, right? I was not even considering these use cases, and that was wrong of me. And that particular incident actually opened my eyes, and I really feel all of us should think like that. Okay, apart from that, I would love to take questions in the end, but before that, this is like a take-home assignment. Not an assignment, but it's just that I want all of you who are attending this particular session to look inwards and try and finding out, biases in the systems that you use. You may be using, different AI assistants on a daily basis. So every time you use an AI assistant, what you can do is you can try to find out different scenarios where the AI is failing, right? Failing as in maybe it's giving you a wrong answer, maybe it's hallucinating and giving you a different answer, right? And that's completely fine. But Your job is to find out those particular use cases and think about if you were to improve this particular system, how would you improve? What would you add in this particular, scenario to actually help it improve? So let's say, you know, g- there's this voice assistant which is problematic for people like Moni, who is trying to have a conversation because she has speech disorder, right? Motor speech disorder. So the suggestions that you can think of is, add delays or tolerances, to stutter speech. Provide alternate input modes like she can type. So let's say if the AI assistant isn't able to understand what she is saying, so we can give her certain alternatives like she can type in the voice only interaction. So these are the certain use cases that you can think of. You can chat about it with your friends. You can create a project around it, a passion project, something like that that you can share among your friends. And if you have worked on anything like that, uh, do reach out to me, do share it with me on LinkedIn. I would be really happy to contribute and look into it and work on these things with you. So if you have any questions, I would love to take those. Please reach out, tell me if you have any questions.
So there is one question in the chat. It's a really good one. I like the question. Would you recommend an effective feedback workflow when prototyping an idea for the first time?
Sorry, I
Can
think
you
you
hear
were
me?
speaking. Yeah, I can hear you
Oh,
now. Can you repeat
okay.
the question?
Yeah, sure. It would be, would you recommend an effective feedback workflow when prototyping an idea for the first time?
So the way I like to do is I like to design conversations in the conversation tree method. So what it does is I work very closely with the prompt engineers who help me, add those different answers in the backend, right? So sometimes what I like to do is I like to create multiple answers for the same question. So let's say there's this question A, and as a chatbot, I can have three different types of answers, right? And in the back end, like from the prompt engineer's perspective, what they can do is what we try to usually do is we try to add an example as well. So we write in the back end that hey, if the user asks this, you need to answer in this particular way, given a few examples in the bracket. So what it does is it actually helps the system to understand that okay, I need to answer the user in this particular sentence structure. So here are a few examples that I can look into, right? That actually reduces a lot of error rates. Initially we used to spend a lot of time in rewriting all the prompts and all the answers, but now we spend less amount of time. So that's something that you can try doing as well.
Great answer. This is such a good presentation, and it has me thinking because sometimes we don't think about the unintentional biases. I actually have a
Yeah,
question for you. You
yeah,
brought up like a really good point about how AI doesn't really necessarily know like the human uh, like nuances in our speech and
yeah.
the little different like even like our facial expressions, right? Because there's just so much to our language. So how do you think we can incorporate that? I don't know if you have the answer to that, but have you seen it being done? I don't know.
Human beings are complex, to be very honest, and uh, there's so much going on when we are conversing. Our sentences, our expressions, the pace, the tone, everything, helps the other person to understand that this particular person is saying. I'm not sure about that now. AI can actually um, see and understand our facial expression. I think I was watching a video of Sophie, the robot, and she was having, they incorporated a lot of, facial expressions. and
Yes,
she
it's
was
suggestive.
frowning, yeah, and she was frowning and she was smiling, and then she was giving a disgusted look
That's pretty
as
stuff.
well. Yeah, so I think we are building something which can be helpful in the future, but I'm not sure how long it's going to take because it's see, I see this particular thing. I see the videos of Sophia, and other robots, and I looked at, we have come a long way, right?
Yeah.
The internet and now this. But on the other hand, I was also watching another video which was talking about the Chinese room. Heard about it? So it says it actually asks a question that if AI is actually intelligent or it's just answering, you know, it's just
Question.
giving us an answer,
Answer.
like
Yeah.
to our questions, right? Is it
Yeah.
just smart enough? It's just very smart Google, right? It
Mm-hmm.
knows the question and then answering. So I think I get it, it's a huge, like I still can't explain it to you, but it's just that I'm still trying to understand and absorb everything. We still don't know what the future holds, but I hope it has, like only good things, because we also see a lot of things which are derailing. We see a lot of people suffering because of the rise of AI as well. I hope in
Yes.
future we have more ethics, and maybe a group of people who take care of ethical use of AI, and inclusivity, things like that. But I just hope we don't end up in like AI movies. If you have seen
Yeah,
I,
no, I
Robot,
hope not.
it
Yeah.
actually
I don't think so.
it
I
scares me, to be honest.
It's a little scary, but no, I
But
don't think
yeah,
we're gonna. I don't think so.
yeah, yeah.
We have another question. As say AI for everyone, what do you think? How far AI has reached to every society of people? How can it be reached? Basically, I think that's what they're saying. How far AI
Um,
has reached to everyone? Do you think? Oh,
the day my mom interacts with an AI system without my assistance, that day I'll assume that, okay, AI has come a long way, because there's a lot for the AI to learn actually. And you see the gaps when you put this very high and very, these AI systems conversing with people from, if I take a voice assistant uh, to my village, right? And I make my granny sit and talk to that system. If she talks and understands that, okay, I can have a proper conversation, that day I'll assume that we have come a long way. But I think it will take a lot of time for us to go there, because language is huge, context is huge, understanding syntax, language structures, the importance of, even little things like punctuations, right? uh,
yes.
Framing effect in language. So these are a lot of the things that we need to incorporate in AI so that it becomes, I won't say it'll become smart like us, but it'll be more, it'll have more data to work around, and it can then help majority of the users across the globe. Maybe some people who have different accents, some people who understand different kinds of language, right? So we need to
Yes.
think of those individuals as well. We can't leave them out. So I think we have a long way to go, honestly.
I think it's a really good discussion to have. That was such a good answer. Oh my gosh. We also have another question for you. What are the ethical concerns surrounding AI, such as privacy, job losses, and the potential for misuse? Like, that's a real thing.
That's a real thing, actually. I think we are kind of living in a paradox, to be very honest. I'll just give you a very simple example. I was thinking about it the other day. So, uh, let's say I just say, "Hey Siri," and it gets activated. Oh, it got activated like that.
You
So,
right there, just proving your point.
so, every time we think of, like, "Hey Siri, find me this, find me that." So at the same point of time. So it's always listening to us, right? To
Yeah.
give us a better experience. Even if I'm taking a shower, I want Siri to play my favorite song. I just call and then ask it to, play my favorite song. But at the same point of time, so we need to understand that it's constantly listening to us to give us a better experience, right?
Yeah.
And we want that, but at the same time we are also concerned about our privacy. So if there is a system which is listening to me 24/7 to give me better experience, then I might have to choose between a better experience and my privacy,
Yes.
right? Like this I think with time this is going to improve, because there are a lot of scientists, a lot of people who are working on this constantly to help create a system which is not, which is taking care of privacy, which is not um, ruining our daily life. I also came across this. I think Instagram added this feature. The artists can now stop Instagram to use their artworks for training purposes. So I think we are slowly going there to, reduce the problems that it might create, because there are a lot of artists out there, uh, and whose livelihoods depend upon,
There.
those
Yes.
their artworks, right? And if we are creating a robust system which can create an amazing artwork, so I'll be using all the raw data for all the from all the artists, right? But do I have their permission, right? So I think there needs to be a lot of that's why I said we need to have a proper system in place. Ethical usage, privacy, and permissions and everything, to make sure that AI is not ruining the lives of a lot of people, and it's not removing a lot of people from their jobs. I also read an article where a friend of mine told me that her entire team got fired in a day because of the rise of AI, and that is concerning, to be very honest, to some level. And uh, yeah, I think the future in future we have, better system in place where we make sure that everything is being ethical, and everyone is, no one is getting harmed from this. So
Yes.
I think that's
Got
that.
it. Katie, thank you so much. Charlene, sorry. Say your name one more
Sharmili,
time.
Sharmili.
Sharmilee. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. Sharmilee. I had it in my head this entire time, I promise. Sharmilee. Thank you so much,
No,
Sharmilee.
it is very difficult. If it is difficult, it's okay.
You brought so many good points. And for our participants who are doing uh, for our participants that are continuing in the in the hackathon, you gave them something really important to think about: the different data sets and how to make a robust system, you need to include everyone. So thank you so much. Everyone, do not forget to fill out the survey in the chat. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. I know there are some great workshops coming up. And thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you so much, Janelle. Thank you so much. I had a great time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Take care.